What you trying to do to me? Dang, I probably should turn this music down because last time it was all acting crazy. It's all crazy. There we go. There we. Oh my gosh, dog is wilding. Okay, nobody in yet. Give it a few minutes. Mm, 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 mm. You doing, girl? Super Moon Night. We'll start in about 5 minutes. Don't just hang in there. Now we be late to the party. Late to the party. Nevertheless, though, this should be a good one because it's critical. It is critical that we build communities, build tribes. Mm. Oh my me, I'm hungry. I was outside. You know how that appetite be when you get done exercising. Just want to eat everything. Everything. Okay, we'll give it 5 more minutes. Just hang in there for a second. But while you are hanging in there, grab a piece of paper, pen, and a pencil. Um, 'cause you're definitely gonna want to take notes on this one. Definitely. I highly highly suggest, highly recommend you take notes on this one. I think my phone's acting up. Hold on a second. Um, okay. Oh no, that some tree sap on my phone. Okay. Checking connection. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at a few things tonight. Um, the key points of this conversation is going to be okay. First of all, the title of this basically is how to build my dog's tree. How to build your new tribe. There you go, girlie. And I would say the chapters of this would be change is necessary, matrilineal counsel or matrilineal point of view. I'll touch on that very, very loosely. Um, like-minded, what do you have to offer? What do you have to offer? What do you have to offer today in this moment? What does your tribe have to offer? This is important. That's more important than what you have to offer. Uh, what if you don't have any skills to offer? Communication skills, good leader attributes, how to create a council. Again, that'll be touched on very loosely too because I still don't really know how to create a council, but I have uh, a few ideas. And we'll talk about barter and trade. Barter and trading as currency. Okay, so we'll give it one more minute, all right? One more minute. Then we will rock and roll. Of course, my dog wants to chew on a chew toy now. You know I'm talking. Uh, okay. Nobody wants to join me tonight, which is all good. Cause I can keep myself company, very much so. Um, welcome to the University of Anansi. Uh, how how I can't spell to build your new tribe. Okay. All right. Okay, we're good to go. Okay. All right. If anybody joins, then it's cool. If anybody doesn't join, then you'll have this in the archives along with everything else. All right. Peace. I'm gonna get this glass out the way, and we will begin. After I take this a while. Let's start with giving thanks. Give thanks. Thank us to our ancestors, the queen mothers of this land, the queen mothers of the land that you're sitting on, the queen mothers of the motherland. That's that we do right by them, that they guard the heavens of our minds. What are our steps? We ask that they continue to reside in us. For where we reside, there is life, light, peace, love, joy, and protection. We ask that our ancestors and the universal ancient one, the dear breath keeper, continue to be at the left, the right, beginning and end, above and below us. For as above, so below, so within, so within, so without. Speak through us, speak through me. May my words be your words. Live through me. May this vessel's thoughts be your thoughts. Love through me. May my wisdom be your wisdom. Manipulate me, possess me. Utilize this vessel. And as always, our ancestors, continue to encamp around us, protect us from all physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual harm. For we trust you, and we thank you, and we thank you for being in the midst of this conversation. Hotep Ashe, Hotep Ak Ujasanel. So change is necessary. Change is necessary. Okay. I wanna pound that in your brain. I want to pound it in your cranium, in your spirit, in your soul. Change is necessary. There's no going backwards. I remember dealing with the extraordinary pain that and anguish that came along with altered states and mood disorders. And it was incredible, incredibly intense. Something I don't wish upon anybody. Maybe my enemy. People always say, I don't wish that on them. I might wish that on my enemy. Maybe it'll make them a better person. But it was difficult. And oftentimes you find yourself reaching backwards because you want to recapture, you want to go back and get that person that you used to be. What happened to me? I was so strong, I was so confident. I could sleep at night with the lights off, no sound. I could go outside without being scared of the sky falling. I know you're like, that's a little, aren't you embellishing a little? No, it's called agoraphobia. Agoraphobia. Look it up. It's serious. It's serious. And I went through my phases of that. It wasn't fun at all. You just you're so disconnected yet connected to everything at the same time, but you lost. You don't know what's going on. It was rough. And finally, it hit me one day. It hit me that I keep trying to go backwards, but the Creator didn't make us that way. The Creator did not make it to where we go backwards. Made it to where we go forward. Some people can say that they can go back in time. I'm not arguing that, but I do know though for a fact is that most of us cannot. So I'm not gonna go back and forth with you on that. It didn't make us to go backwards. So if you're not made to go backwards, why do you keep going backwards looking for something that you used to have? You're not gonna get that again. You're not gonna get that again. You have to redefine. You have to recreate, redevelop a new you. And no, it's not easy, but it's necessary and it has to happen. And that's the moment that we're in. That's where we are at today. We're in a moment. We're in a time space, a divine space. Whether you want to acknowledge that or not, I'll acknowledge it for my reality. It's a divine space in which the ancestors are moving in a very, very um, unique way. They're talking, or are you listening? Are you too distracted? Are you bogged down with the emotions? Are you bogged down with the pain already? You could be. No one's you know, coming at you. I'm not coming at you for that if that's the case. But what I am saying is that they are speaking, and this is a good moment to be silent and rest assured and rest on their shoulders that they're expressing something to each of us of what we need to do to move forward. To move forward, they want us to move forward. They don't want us to move backwards. So accept this moment, accept and embrace this new change. This is a new opportunity for you to pivot and gain some grounding on what you should have been doing maybe, or what you need to do moving forward. It's time to move forward. It's time to move forward. So understand that change is necessary, and that's why we are talking about um, developing a new tribe, because you may not be able to live this in this existence of what they used to call the American dream, which was the yard with the picket fence and your family, your wife and your two kids. I'm not saying that can't happen. Some of you will still be able to do that. That's all cool, all fine and dandy. But probably most won't. So that means, hey, peace, peace, Ashe, Empress. Um, I'm gonna hang in there for about 50 minutes because I got to go see this moon. I think around 10:40 Eastern time is when it's at its peak. So I'm gonna take my dog out at about 10:30, 10:40. But right now, I'm just talking about change being necessary and just expressing that on my journey in particular, when I was dealing with altered states. Right, yeah. I'm about to go outside too. Yeah, I'm gonna go outside soon. Yeah, in about 45 minutes. I'm gonna get out there. I ain't gonna miss all of it. I know she's beautiful. I saw her when I was coming in. She's beautiful. We're talking about the supermoon. But yeah, just basically expressing that in my most intense moments dealing with altered states and mood disorders, that oftentimes um, I was trying to go backwards and trying to um, go back and grab this person that I used to be, and I'm just letting people know that the Creator, the Breath Keeper, the Universal Ancient One, did not create us to go backwards. He created us to move forward. And in this moment, our ancestors they're not calling on us to go backwards. They're calling on us to move forward, and they're giving us signals, and they're giving us their language in their own unique way on how we need to go about moving forward. So that's what creating your tribe, how to build a new tribe. That's what it's all about. Because again, just to repeat, the American dream of the house and the picket fence with the family. Like I said, some people will still be able to continue to do that. Most of us probably will not. So we got to think differently. We have to pivot at this point and challenge, continue to challenge beliefs, continue to challenge these systems, this simulation that we've been put in. We got to be outside the box on this next go around, and that's what we're going to do. So change is necessary. No more. Don't go backwards. Change is necessary. It's growth. It is pain. That's right. Yes. Elevate. Move up. Exactly. Things have to change. And with me speaking for myself, I'm just done with words. I'm all about action. There are things I'm putting into place at the moment as we speak. That I'm serious. It's time for new kingdoms. It's time for new empires to be built, and um, I will carry out what my responsibilities are. Period. So with that being said, growth, as you just said, also elevate, move up. There's pain that comes along with that. It's gonna it's gonna try your wisdom. It's gonna try what you might perceive as intellect, what you might perceive as this norm, this normalcy. No more normalcy. And yes, moving forward, it is very similar. As I compare it again to my past, it is very similar to being on this cliff and not being able to see off the edge of it. You don't know what's there. You just gotta know. You just gotta believe what needs to be there as it pertains to your reality and how you need to move and how you move with others. So let's go ahead and shift from change, which is necessary, to matrilineal. I want to touch on. Oh my gosh, where's my? I gotta grab my microphone because I'm on YouTube live, so they gotta. I can't even eat my. I want to eat my kiwi. Excuse me for those of you guys who didn't hear me clearly. We're going to make an adjustment to the matrilineal. I want to talk about this. Not that I'm trying to push any agenda whatsoever. Many of you may already know about matrilineal councils and how matrilineal societies work. I'm going to go over it just a little bit. So just bear with me because everything I do regarding the University of Anansi, it's all about study lessons and things that you can take back with yourself to improve upon yourself. So this is matrilineal and land in the Pacific. So I'm going to read just a little bit of this. Many areas of the region have traditionally been matrilineal, particularly across the western and northern parts of the Pacific. I said Pacific. I didn't say specific. In these places, land has generally been transmitted through the mother's line, and in some cases, women have exercised significant responsibility over land. Among the Nagovisi, women played an essential part in lineage discussions and decision making with regard to distributions, land use, and compensation settlement. She adds that the women look after descent property and that brothers play an adversary role. Among the Tuube of the Masim, southeast Papua New Guinea, decisions about land are deemed the province of women, as they are the reproducers of lineage identity. Women are involved in public debates about land use, property rights, and interlineage disputes. In his discussion of Namo Nuito, he writes that the inhabitants deem it logical that women should act as the primary caretakers of the clan's assets, land, and children because they stay on the land and hold the knowledge related to it, including its boundaries and history. The women thus manage the land and men, again, play an adversary role. This individual adds that no man would take action on land matters without first obtaining the approval of a senior female of his descent group. The above are examples of matrilineal areas in which women play strong roles in the land management and are the main actors. In other matrilineal societies, men have been the actors and women the advisors, but it's different in this area. I move on. Hang in there with me. Greetings, peace and light, Tasher 03. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Moving on. Um, Again, anybody who's new, we're talking about how to build a new tribe. Again, I'm talking about matrilineal aspects and variables as it pertains to tribal building. Not that I'm pushing an agenda, but since we're talking about new things, we do need to continue to again look at things from different perspectives. And to be honest, from my point of view and my perspective, as we continue to welcome back the ancestors on this new terrain, in this new realm, in this new moment, we I think we should understand that a matrilineal way is probably where it's going anyway. So that's just what I'm getting. Whether my signals are wrong or crossed, it's neither here nor there. We move on. The Queen Mother, matriarchy, and the question of female political authority in pre-colonial West African monarchy. This is coming out of JSTOR, which is a research site on the internet. And from where I'm gathering, this is coming out of the Journal of Black Studies. Tariku Farrar. It says several years ago, anthropologist Ronald Cohen wrote a thought provoking article, the focus of which was the phenomenon of the African Queen Mother. Female title holders placed in the highest levels of the political order were a common feature of ancient and latter pre colonial African political systems. Wherever these political systems have managed to survive colonialism and into the post colonial era, through being accorded traditional status, female title holders have often served within them. Excuse me, with them. Excuse me. This broad collection of female titles has been brought together by anthropologists and others and is considered to be varied expressions of the same institution, the institution of Queen Mother. Focusing on the institution as it exists today within traditional political system of the Pabir people of northern Nigeria, but also drawing on examples from elsewhere on the African continent. Um, Ronald attempts to explain why the office of Queen Mother was so prevalent in pre colonial African state systems. He concludes his explanation with the hypothesis on the origins of African Queen Mother. The thrust of his argument is that the office of Queen Mother was, in general, essentially of a ceremonial character and that it served as a center around which the opposition or potential opposition to the king could be safely and non divisively collected. We move on. Last but not least, more recently, Afrocentric scholars that we probably know about. What's up, Reese? Pleasure to cross paths with you again, brother. King Reese. Um, More recently, Afrocentric scholars. We got Henrik Clark. We have Van Sertima. We have um, Sheikh Diop. Have begun to seriously address, this is back in 1984, by the way, address the issue of female political and social power in ancient Africa and have tended to place the discussion within the broader context of the question of the matriarch. They are in agreement with the theory that matriarchy is the most ancient or primordial family form and maintain that it is older in Africa than anywhere else in the world. The consideration of African female figures of authority is placed within this setting. In this approach, these scholars are following the lead of Sheikh Anta Diop, who has written, sidebar, by the way, if you don't know who Sheikh Anta Diop is, he's one of our God scholars, Pan-African historians. I can't say enough about this individual. Two Cradle Theory is one of his most popular writings. Two Cradle Theory, make sure you check that out. An explosive writing that he did. In this approach, these scholars are following the lead of Sheikh Anta Diop, who has written extensively on this question. Diop's The Cultural Unity of Black Africa is the most detailed work on the question of matriarchy in Africa that has ever been produced. I'm going to say that one more time. The Cultural Unity of Black Africa is the most detailed work on the question of matriarchy in Africa that has ever been produced. Although Diop believed that the matrilineal clan systems of Africa were ultimately the creation of males, a contention that is dubious and in any case impossible to prove, he viewed what he considered to be matriarchal family forms in Africa as an outgrowth of matrilineal descent systems. Moreover, he explained the generally higher status of women in ancient and later pre-colonial Africa in this light. His consideration of female political power in early Africa was connected to what, in his view, was an underlying matriarchal foundation. And we will stop right there. Yeah, we'll stop right there. Again, why am I making we having this discussion? Because when it comes to building a new tribe, the order of things, the hierarchy, it might have to look different as we continue to move forward. I'm not saying it has to. I'm just saying since we're talking about new things, since we're talking about new reality, a new realm, this is something that must be discussed. And as I get signals from my ancestors, when we have conversations about Sankofa being the return back to the land, the return back to our ancient ways. That's possibly what is going on today. I'm gonna move you to this side for a second. So so yeah, that's matrilineal councils, and we'll go over a little bit how what those councils look like in a second. Mm. Next on my list is Kemet and Kush, also known as that the Europeans call ancient Egypt and Ethiopia. Kush also being considered Nubia. The reason why I wrote down Kemet and Kush is because now we get into a discussion about when developing your community, when setting up your new tribe, um, who do you want to allow into your ether, your spirit, your essence, your reality, whether it's predicated upon words, whether it's predicated upon thoughts, whether it's predicated upon the systems that they follow, whether it's predicated upon their inner being, their strengths and weaknesses, et cetera, et cetera. Who do you want to allow in your clan, in your system? That is probably one of the most important questions, because you have to ask yourself, because in developing your tribe and your village, yes, you want like-minded individuals. Um, hold on one second, Bree Rose. I'm gonna let you be a part. Just one second. One second. Thank you. Um, when setting up your clan and your tribe and your village, yeah, you want like-minded people, but at the same time, you might want individuals that don't necessarily do things the same exact way that you do it. Women have always been the underlying factor in successful and flourishing communities. Absolutely, Empress. Absolutely. I won't hear no argument out of me on that. That's for sure. Um, so yeah, when you're putting together these new communities, these new villages, what do you want to allow? Again, going back to Kemet and Kush. Kemet and Kush, in particular, had the most exquisite. I can't even put into words regarding how exquisite, how detailed, how enormous, how much wisdom was layered in the libraries of Kemet and Kush, was layered in the libraries of Alexandria. Like that was the Mecca. That was the Mecca. That's where everybody went to study. They wanted to know everything that these ancients were studying. And it was like, this meeting of so many great minds from so many different places. Now, keep in mind, when you have Kemet and Kush, when people were coming into their environments, oh, you best believe you had to follow suit. Outside of this, disagreements and battles within that led to different, um, downsliding, of the culture of the essence of those areas in itself. When you came to Kemet, you came to Kush, it was all about Mayat. I'm sure you already know what Mayat is. Balance and harmony is a set of rules and regulations that's incomparable to none. So if you want to set your system up a certain way to where you follow a certain system in particular, whether it's Maya, whether it's um Igbo, whether it's along the lines of the Akan people, Bandun, Santeria, Candomblé, et cetera, the list goes on and on. Ifa, let that be the center of your foundation. And if someone else studies something else, whether it's Christianity or Islam, they have to come in and they have to be extremely reverent and respectful of your system. And if they don't want to be respectful of your system, then they can't be there. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean you don't want to have people in your system, in your community, in your tribe that's not necessarily like you, because they might bring something to the table that you need, which is going to actually lead me to another part of this conversation regarding what you need. Uh, Marvin, what's up, Marvin? How you doing, brother? Peace and light, brother. Um, so yeah, you're setting up this system, this new tribe with people that, honey, but hey, peace, Nubian. Good to see you. Good to see you. We're talking just to catch you up right quick. We're talking on how to build a new tribe, how to build a community, a village, and just in case you want to catch a lot of what was spoken of in detail, feel free to go to the YouTube channel after this is over with, El Rico Ramon YouTube channel. Just click on African mental health, and it's going to be right there. I kid you not. So, but we went through changes necessary. We talked about the Matrilineal Council and what that looks like. What it was in detail, but it wasn't too lengthy because there's a lot more to it. And we talked about Kemet and Kush and how people met in Kemet and Kush that weren't necessarily like-minded regarding systems, but they all understood that you had to obey the orders of Mayat, and that's it. That's what it was, and it is what it is. So again, going back into these systems and allowing people into your tribe, into your community that don't necessarily maybe utilize the same system that you use. When I think about leaders and I think about sometimes where we have fallen in the incorporating these systems, oftentimes we don't want to add people into the mix that are smarter, that are wiser, that have a certain amount of intelligence than you may have. You don't want to be you. I don't encourage you to be the most wisest person in your group, in your clan. Have people around you that are very competent, because if you don't have people around you that are competent, that can't question authority sometimes in a respectful way, then you never know. You're limiting, you're putting limitations, you're putting boundaries on what the ceiling could be. The ceiling could be empires, kingdoms, and I will not stray away from what I believe is going on. I really do believe that this is the very humble beginnings of new empires and new kingdoms within the African culture, whether it be on the motherland or whether it be in this land. Don't Be careful about putting limitations and boundaries on the ceiling. At the same time, be cautious. Be cautious. That's why setting up your tribe and your community and your council a certain way is extremely important. All right. So now we move on from Kemet and Kush, and we're gonna move on to skill sets. We're gonna this is really the meat of this conversation. This is very, very important. I can't stress enough how important this is. Um, One reason why this is important, and I'm going to say this in the most covert way possible. The reason why I'm being covert is because of a posting that I put the other day. I want to bring this posting up. Excuse me. It was a posting I commented on with Blue Pill, and he got a great posting about farmers. Excuse me. Great posting about farmers, in which I responded in a respectful way to add to what he was saying. I said, off the grid. I know most of you know this already. Be careful how we move high melanin regarding the overground. It's a play on words, like so, just like the underground, the overground, because that's what's going on. I'm gonna leave it right there. Be careful how we move regarding the overground. As much word of mouth is key right now. Social media may have to take a back seat sooner than later. I don't know. Just my humble thoughts. Snakes in the grass are everywhere. When I say snakes in the grass, the reason why I bring that up is because we have to overstand and understand that when it comes to revolutions and uprisings, not necessarily hostile uprisings, just saying uprisings in general, we've had a lot of agents involved, so we got to be very careful how we move in these times, as it pertains to off the grid measures and off the grid communities and tribes. Snakes in the grass everywhere. This next phase of our cultural legacy will be monumental. I repeat this. This next phase of our cultural legacy will be monumental and one for the ages. I come in peace. So now we go back to what do you have to offer? The reason why I'm saying this is because you don't know what this looks like. All you can do is prepare. That's all you can do is do as much preparation as possible. I'm gonna give you an example. Wink, wink. I'm gonna give you an example. Let's just say that I have all this land. I got all these acres of land, right? And there's people that are coming to me that want to utilize my land as a space, whether it's to build upon community wise, whether it's for an oasis of sorts, an overground oasis, whether it's a healing retreat of sorts. One of my questions might be, well, what do you have to offer? You might not have much money. Um, Let me move this around a little bit. Hold on a second. Said poor connection. You might not have much money to offer because you or maybe the community that you're with are a part of the group of individuals that were laid off due to what's going on right now. That's a very real thing. A very real thing is that a lot of people are not going to have the financial savvy to be able to do a lot of things. So when I ask you this question and you say that you don't really have any money, well, my next question might be, okay, well, what do you have to offer? What's your skill set? What's your skill set? What do you bring to the table? And I'm not really saying individually what do you bring to the table, because what you need to understand that, I might have this land and I might be willing to allow you to use my land, but I might not really be interested in what you as an individual offers. What do all of you offer? What can you bring to the table? Construction? You know somebody who does construction? Do you know somebody who does plumbing? How many healers do you know? Different types of healers. I'm not talking about just different types of healers, doctors, cooks, farmers, sowers. What are probably the three most important things when it comes to survival? I think I know. Food, a roof over your head, and clothes. Food, roof over your head, and clothes. How many people do you know who can cook, who are farmers, who can grow food? How many people do you know who are sowers? How many people do you know are able to put some type of roof over your head? You see where I'm going with this? So you come you come to me on my land that I own with all my acres, and as a crew, as a tribe, as a visitor, hey, look, I would like to be on rent, 5 acres of your land. And you say, I have people who are going to sew, create clothes. I got people who can cook, create food. I got people who can build, tiny homes, who can make homes out of 18-wheeler truck bins or whatever on the back, whatever's on the back, people that can make huts, that are sun solar sufficient. I ain't talking about big homes. I ain't talking about castles. That you got people who can do that. Great, send them my way too. But what can your tribe do? What can your community do? That's what you're doing when you're building your tribe. Like, you're looking for people that are like-minded, that are willing to be respectful and reverent of the system that you follow. In addition to that, what is their skill sets? You want to have as many people in your tribe and your community as possible that have a certain type of skill set when you're building your community and building your tribe, because at some point in time, there's a possibility that someone's going to come along and they're going to ask you, hey, I might need some help. I might want, it might not even be a owner of a land. It might be another tribe. What if another tribe comes to you and that tribe is like, hey, this is my tribe. This is what we got to offer. Maybe we can hook up and connect and do something and build this thing together. What does your tribe have to offer? If you come into the party and your tribe, you only have one skill set, which is fine. That's fine. Maybe that skill set, maybe you got a whole crew of healers. That could work too. Again, no boundaries, no limitations. We trying to break through the ceiling here, right? So when you're asked this question, we're talking about a preparedness, a set of actions at the moment. When you're asked this question, when you come across whomever and they ask you, who's your tribe, what do you represent, what's your system, and what skill sets do you guys provide and have, you got to be able to boom, boom, boom. She does that, he does that, he does that, she does that. This is how we're set. This is the order of it. We ain't talking about corporations. We ain't talking about LLCs. If you want to develop your system around that, cool, to each his own. I'm talking about an ancient African way of doing it, oral traditions, ancient oral traditions by mouth. Set up your systems yesterday. 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 Don't set it up tomorrow. Don't set it up next week. Time is of the essence. At the same time, as I say that, I simultaneously encourage you not to rush, be patient, meditate with the ancestors in nature or wherever you do. I'm not putting no restrictions on that. Meditate with the ancestors and ultimately follow their lead, follow their orders on when and where and who you need to choose and who you need to recruit for your tribe and for your community. All right. Um, so we already touched on that. I'll touch on that one more time. Again, what does your tribe have to offer? Excuse me, have people that are smarter than you, more competent than you, wiser than you. Oh, that's what we're going to touch on. Um, make it a balance. Have some young ones that are intelligent, that maybe have an old soul, old spirit. I'm just throwing some things out there off the top of my head. Obviously, have some elders. You want some elders too, but you want to have a mix, and you want there to be a sweet balance down the middle. You want the elders to be able to, and maybe they are the hierarchy. Maybe I don't know. You got to set it up the way you want to set it up. But within the hierarchy, these elders, everybody gets a gut check. Everybody, everybody gets a gut check. And the youngins, our age group, the elders too. The elders have to be respectful of various points of views because things are different now. Things are going to continue to be different. Everybody should be able to have a respectful voice, I believe, in your community, in your tribe. Um, so yeah, make sure you got an assortment of people. This might be a question somebody might ask. What if you're listening to this right now and you're saying, I don't have any skills. Okay, can you assimilate? Can you delegate good? I was just my dog wagging her tail. She can assimilate. Um, I remember working at this radio station and I had this supervisor, and he was just corny. Dude was corny, but he could delegate. He could delegate like nobody's business. I don't know what his skill set was, but apparently his skill set was delegating. He knew how to find the best parts of who you were and give you this position. And if you were mediocre, he would give you another position so that you could develop your skill set in that area also. And if you just sucked at a position, then he would just give you something else, or give that whatever your weakness is, he would find somebody else that's strong in that area and give them whatever you're weak in. Exactly, Empress. Everybody can do something. Everybody can. So maybe you're just a great delegator. You know how to make assignments and stuff to people. So that's good. Put you be the one to put the tribe together, put the community together. Which actually leads to the next. I had to write this down because this leads to the next thing. Um, are you a good leader? Like, don't say yes because you just want to pat yourself on the back. Like, are you a good leader? Like, how many people have you offended in your journey? How many bridges have you burned? Like, are you even good at like sustaining and keeping people connected to each other and being that facilitator that can balance things out along with other people? If that's not your strong suit, doesn't mean you can't delegate. Just make sure you know where you're assigning positions and what position you need to take on and what role you need to take. Um, Everybody's not meant to do everything, and that's nothing wrong with that. But nevertheless, that doesn't mean you still aren't a leader. Matter of fact, I want to make it clear too that this moment, this time, it calls for so many leaders. There is no just a few. There is no handful of your Marcus Garveys, your Malcolm X, MLK, Asada, so many of them obviously, but this is not a moment to just look for a handful that are so powerful that they're leaders of the nation, the African nation, our culture. It's time to have 100 leaders in one county, across 5 counties. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there has to be a not too many chiefs, obviously, in one tribe in one community, but we need to have a lot of leaders. Put together your community, and if it's getting too big, or you want to put limitations on how many people you want in your tribe, help them set up their own, help them set up their own tribe. Just like I'm sitting here allowing the ancestors to move through me, to deliver light. You allow the ancestors to move through you to deliver light to somebody else. Help people set up their tribes, because there's so many people that are going to struggle. So many people. I'm gonna tell you right now, just a sidebar, and I won't get into the specifics. Right now, um, trying to figure out how I want to say this. Uh, I'll just I just want to be covert because I don't want to put all the business out there. Right now, a company in particular that I'm really close to has laid off 350 people at the already as of yesterday. 350 people. I don't know if they're even reporting in any news outlets what's going on underneath all this right now, but it's heavy. It's heavy. And that's not, again, I don't do the fear mongering. I'm all about resolution. That's what this is about. This is about resolution. We got 15 minutes left. I know I'm gonna get all y'all out there for the super moon, so I'm very mindful of time. But I think I lost my train of thought a little bit. But yeah, but it's happening. The layoffs are happening, and we got to do the best we can to help one another. Again, circling back around to the point I'm trying to make. If you don't want to allow certain people in your tribe or don't have room, help them create their tribes. Help them create their communities so that they can move on. Because the more the more you create your tribe and build your community up, and the more you help other communities and tribes, I just can't. I'm excited. I'm excited. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. I'm optimistic, and I will continue to be optimistic on my behalf. Um, let's go over communication skills right quick, because and that's why I want to go over that. And this kind of ties into one another. Communication skills and good leader attributes when it comes to communications, because there's a lot of different attributes when it comes to being a good leader, but we're talking about communications. Listening, understanding that more than two or three narratives can exist at one time. Reason why I wrote that is because within humanity, I would say, overall, but I'm gonna be specific too about our culture in particular. We have a hard time digesting. I'm not generalizing. A lot of us in our culture have a hard time digesting other point of views. If you do not overstand anything at this particular point in time regarding reality and in this multiple dimensionness we've always really been in, understand at least one thing, that we live in a realm of half truths. You have your truth, I have my truth. Your truth is a percentage of my truth. My truth is a percentage of your truth. The sky looks different to me. I don't care what you say. It looks different to me than it looks to you. It may be blue, but what is blue? I'm not gonna, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. The point I'm trying to make is that when it comes to communicating things as a leader within your tribe, listen. Listen is always better than talking. Number one. Number two, um, which is probably the most important. It's important to me because I've always really been like that. More than two or three narratives can exist at one time. Um, in Buddhism, they might say maybe, maybe not. What's right? What's wrong? You got to allow for different perspectives and thoughts and opinions and facts and stuff like to matriculate within your community, within your tribe. I'm gonna say you got to. I believe, I think, I feel you have to allow for that to exist, because if you don't, then you're just gonna have an uprising, and you're not gonna really be considered that great of a leader. You're gonna be considered a tyrant. You're gonna be considered a dictator. Maybe that's what you want to be in your tribe. Again, to each his own. Do what you do within your own community. But I do believe the best way to lead is with this overstanding and understanding that everybody has value, everybody brings something to the table, and you can agree to disagree in a respectful way. You have your narrative, I have my narrative, but it's work, and you got to find the peace within that. You got to find the peace within that. All right. So that's that. I'm gonna go to this right quick. Create a council. No, excuse me. Skip past that. I'm gonna speak on this loosely because even I don't really have all the answers to this, and it's it's still fuzzy, but yet clear if you kind of understand what I'm saying. Barter and trading as a currency. I don't know why I bring that up, but the ancestors put that on my spirit and my heart. Part of the reason why is this: we are more than likely heading into a digital type of currency environment. What does that mean? Overall, I don't know, but um, one could argue that it's centered upon money being on ledgers and blockchains, obviously similar to Bitcoin. I'm not saying go out and buy Bitcoin. I'm just saying like it's a different it's a for lack of words, it's like a one world type of currency basically. You have other different thoughts and perspectives out there that are very valid and legit, whether it pertains to gold, whether it pertains to stocks. Um, what I'm trying to say is that, in addition to that, what I'm trying to say is that in this new realm that's already here, by the way, it's been here. It's just it's just developing faster at this particular point in time. In this new realm, it is a very high intense technological type of realm. Um, Stating the obvious, it is a 5G realm. It is here. It's probably not going anywhere. And if it does, it'll be because of something spectacular, probably through nature, which I believe can do anything. In this 5G realm, just to layer just a little bit, I'm not going too extensively because we got 10 minutes left. Um, in this 5G realm, it is IoT, the Internet of Things. I've been studying this for so many years now. I knew it was coming. IoT, Internet of Things, and it's basically where everything is an extension of everything. It's a smart world. Most urban cities, if not all, will be smart cities. They will be highly um, um, equipped with surveillance and 5G. Everything will be on 1984 or 1948. I think I said it, 1984. You know what that is. It's here. It's here. A lot of people are not going to be able to exist and survive in this 5G super surveillance urban smart city realm, or just whatever you want to call it. So that's where off the grid comes from. How some people will be able to go back and forth depending on what that means. Um, there will more than likely be variables that you will have to subscribe to in order to participate in the 5G smart city realm. I don't know what that is. Some people have said mandatory vaccinations. I don't disagree with that. Obviously, that's I'm saying that that's probably going to happen. But again, I don't have facts on that. We really don't know what this looks like. But be ready and be prepared for everything. So, circling back around to barter and trading as a currency, if you cannot survive, if you will not be able to be in the grid, in the 5G uh, super wireless um, grid, then you will have to be off the grid. Because you can't be in the grid, because you can't participate, that means you can't make money. That means you can't, participate in certain types of education, certain types of shopping, grocery shopping, banks, and different various institutions that you probably don't want to be a part of anyways, but I'm saying it anyways. But if you don't want to participate, that means you might have to find a different type of currency to use among yourselves, among your community. And what can that be? I don't know. It could be Bitcoin. It could be Akon's, cryptocurrency. You might want to check that out, by the way. Uh, and I'll do another um, university lesson on cryptocurrency, but and I'm elementary, so I don't want you to take my word for anything in particular on that. But there are some things I've come across, and I want to put you onto that too. Um, so yeah, so you want to really um, develop some sense of intelligence, or maybe add people into your community and tribe that have an understanding of what bartering and trading is all about as it pertains to different currencies and stuff like that. But keep in mind that when it comes to barter and trading, going all the way back to the first part of this conversation, what do you have to offer? Again, if I have land, or if I got a tribe or something, maybe I don't need your money. I might not need your money, but I might need your skill sets. I might, if you can come onto this land and make clothes and make food and build up, again, tiny homes, small homes, or whatever it is, little offices and stuff like that, where you can do trading and make food or whatever. You got a plumber, I got a healer. You got a sower, I got a farmer. You got a construction worker. You see what I'm saying? That's what bartering and trading is all about. So do understand that, even if you don't want to participate in this new society, there's other ways to go about doing it. But preparedness, it's good to prepare yourself at the moment. And this was we got 5 minutes. Um, the young lady wanted to join in, so I'm gonna see if she's still there to join. Can you send me a join in again? 'Cause I would like to. I like to put you on. Be respectful. But this individual asked, "What if you're unfulfilled at work right now?" That's a I thought that was a really good question, and my response to him was, "Check out this lesson that we're uh, going through right now. If you're unfulfilled at work right now that you're doing at home, this is the perfect opportunity to do one of two things. You could use this occupation that you have right now, especially if you're going to be at home permanently, you can use it to set up something somewhere else. For example, okay, I'm about to request you. For example, um, let's say you have a job right now, you're working at home, and you're never gonna have to go back in the office again. Well, guess what? There's this thing called low cost of living, and low cost of living cities are around the world, and a lot of them are in this country. Take that job you don't like, go to another city where the cost of living is cheaper, stack your funds, create your tribe and your community, and invite other people into your area. There's different ways you can go about doing that. Or number two, I was gonna say again, this is the perfect time to pivot. Perfect time to pivot. Let me see if I can add you. I've never done this before, by the way, so I'm just kind of going to see if that works. I think it worked. I don't know if it worked. Waiting for Bree Rose Petals. Well, I'm waiting. She's connecting. Peace, peace. Hello. You hear me? Hey, peace. How you doing? Hey, how are you? How are you? Yeah, yeah. Feel free. I would love your input. I know we got like a few minutes left, so I'd love to hear your input, if any at all. Yeah. Mm. 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 That sounds similar. Have you heard of Wellbriety before? Have you heard of Wellbriety? Wellbriety before? Okay. There's a yeah, it's a guy that I interviewed named Don Coyus, Doncoyhis, and I can't remember what Native American tribe that he's a part of off the top of my head, with all due respects. But he's talked about that exactly what you just said. Can you say that one more time? I want to make sure everybody else heard that. Say that one more time. The 13. Hmm. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, peace. Asante, peace. Thank you so much. So yeah, so as we wrap this up, um, I think I got a couple minutes there. As we wrap this up, ultimately, I just want you to know that there really is no need to really just be down on yourself regarding the situation. And that's not me being frivolous with my words and saying like you should not be affected. You know, um, put on your big boy shoes. Um, put on your big boy shoes or pants or whatever. I'm not implying that. As a facilitator and as one who has been through many support groups, what I want to say is really important is that your emotions, your moment, how you feel right now matters. If you feel anxious, feel anxious. If you feel sad, feel sad. Like there's certain things that are not affecting me, but there's certain things indirectly that are affecting me at the moment. And I feel sad, like there's certain things that are not affecting me, but there's certain things indirectly that are affecting me at the moment. And I gotta choose, and I do choose. I choose. I'm gonna let that in. I'm gonna sit with it, and then I'm gonna be present, and I'm gonna balance it out and move forward. So I'm not saying like don't have these feelings. I'm just saying like understand that there are things you can do. Like be optimistic. Use your words and thoughts wisely. I posted it so many times, and I'll post it again regarding my profession, something that I've been doing over 20 years now, something that I've been infatuated with since I was a kid. Since I've had headphones since I was a kid, since a baby. Is I've been able to sit there and manipulate frequency on a daily basis in my career, and I see it. It's like tangible to me because it's what I do all the time, and I see what the power of frequency and words do. So use your words and thoughts very, very carefully, and use this moment to pivot and create a community. Create a hobby of sorts. Create a new career if that's what you want to do, and continue to learn. But at the same time, I strongly encourage you to be more about action, because we've done a lot of talking, including myself, a lot of posting this and that, which is fine, a lot of educating ourselves, which is great. Continue to do that, but it's about action. We have to move with action now. No more just talking. No more just talking. All right. So um it's 10 o'clock. I'm about to go walk my dog in a second and go and be at peace and meditate with the full moon and the ancestors and the queen mothers. I will wrap it up on one thing: creating a council. And this is the last thing. It's real short. It's going to take like about a minute or two if it'll let me. But in creating a council, and I still don't know. I'm still elementary to this, but it's very similar to a pyramid. Maybe you want to put the queen mother at the top of the council, and I'm gonna check out also what Bree said also regarding the International 13. Um, but you wanna make it to where there's a different divisions, and you want to make it to where in your tribe, in your community, with your council, you want to make it to where you have the hierarchy. And from a matrilineal point of view, if I'm correct, which I might not be, if I'm correct, you had the queen mother at the top. You had other queen mothers, maybe two or three right below her, and then you had two more functioning governing bodies. You had men and women, where a lot of decisions were made, and they were passed up through to the queen mothers, or maybe it might be the queen fathers, excuse me, the king fathers in your situation, if it's more of a patriarchal type of council setup. But create your council in such a way that it's respectful, that there's reverence, and create it to where there's these rules and regulations and this balance of harmony and mayat. That's so that when you let other people into your tribe and your community, you are able to give them, this is the system, this is how it works. Do you agree to it? Yes. Come on in. No. Got to go. Go find another council, go find another community, or go and create your own tribe. All right. So that will go ahead and wrap this up regarding how to create your own tribe. Hope you enjoyed it. So much love and peace. Thank you for joining me. And again, I want to say thank you to the ancestors and the queen mothers for being in the midst of this conversation. Coming up next, we're gonna talk a little bit more about how to. Oh, okay. Share story. Coming up next, as we continue to um, wrap up this live version on the YouTube, we're going to talk about. Honestly, I don't even want to say we're going to talk about, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I know what I want to talk about, but the ancestors, they'll do something tomorrow or the day after, and it'll be like, I want you to talk about this, and I gotta respect them. Yeah, I can't. There's no planning. There's no planning right now regarding that. These conversations, these unlimited conversations. So again, peace and light. I love you. And till we meet again, Ashe, Hotep, Hotep, Anku, Jisanev. End stream. End stream.